Well, I've got good news and bad news for you on that. The good news is obviously this is a very welcome approval of a vaccine, as you mentioned, that only needs one dose. That means countries would no longer have to be saving second doses to administer 4 weeks later, and it should make the pace of vaccinations able to majorly pick up. Also, this vaccine doesn't need the type of extremely low temperatures for storage that the three vaccines approved so far need. But it was hoped that Johnson & Johnson would be able to immediately start delivery to the EU upon approval, but we got reports this week that, in fact, delivery of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to the EU may not come till mid-April or even maybe not until May. I talked with a group of German MEPs yesterday who are really concerned about this. They say they're getting a sense of deja vu from when AstraZeneca told the EU at the last minute, just before approval of their vaccine in January, that they would not be able to immediately start delivering doses as envisioned. And in fact, AstraZeneca is still majorly below the delivery schedule that it promised to the EU. The MEPs are worrying. We're seeing the same pattern developing here, where the country that the company is based in seems to be getting preferential treatment. Of course, the EU has been engaged in a kind of proxy war with the UK over this in terms of AstraZeneca, because no vaccines are being exported from the UK, including the 2 facilities for AstraZeneca in the UK that were envisioned to be part of EU delivery. And now it seems that Johnson & Johnson may be prioritizing the US ramp up and neglecting its European production facilities. That's at least what the MEPs think. They're also worried that, especially in the short term, vaccine doses made in the EU may go to the US for Americans, but it can't happen the other way around because the US has a complete export ban on any vaccines. So even though this is really good news that it's been approved, the bad news is we may not see this vaccine going into jabs in people's arms for quite some time. The MEPs are calling on the European Commission to get tough with the Biden administration and say, look, you cannot hold back vaccines and let Europeans go unvaccinated. We need to be treated fairly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dave, what about this other news that I mentioned today, that several countries in Europe, including Denmark and Italy, have chosen to temporarily block the rollout of the AstraZeneca vaccine? This is because of safety concerns. What are those concerns?
Yeah, this is the other big vaccine story of the day. It started when there were reports of severe blood clots of people in Austria who had received the vaccine. The initial reaction from Austria and some other countries was to just not administer the particular batch that those vaccines came from. But then today, Denmark said it was suspending all applications of AstraZeneca for 14 days. Now, the Danish medical authority was keen to stress there is absolutely no evidence at this point that the vaccinations caused those blood clots, but they just want to make sure, they want to play it safe. Similarly, the European Medicines Agency yesterday said they too could find no direct link between the vaccinations and the blood clots. They are continuing to look at it, but in the meantime, they say there is no link. That being said, this is a vaccine that already has some reputational problems in Europe. For one thing, because of these business disputes, essentially delivery disputes, that the European Union is having with the company, and then the other, that several countries in the EU decided not to give the vaccine to people over 65 at first because they said they hadn't been provided with enough data from the company. Those countries, like France, Germany, Belgium, they have ended that restriction to only giving the vaccine to people under 65. They're now giving it to people older. But we did see the public confidence in this vaccine dented by that initial restriction that some people under 65 maybe didn't want to take it. Probably the bigger problem was the logistics systems weren't designed at this stage to be giving vaccines to people under 65. But this new news could further damage public confidence in the AstraZeneca vaccine. And the problem is this vaccine is still at the center of the EU's vaccination strategy. As I mentioned, those Johnson & Johnson jabs probably won't be coming for some time. So the EU is kind of stuck with AstraZeneca at this point, even if people are feeling nervous about it. Again, there's no reason to feel nervous about it. That's what the EMA says. But at this moment, the AstraZeneca vaccine, if people start to feel wary about taking it, we don't have any evidence so far that people are refusing AstraZeneca jabs on any wide-scale basis. But if that were to start happening, it could be a big problem in the EU's vaccine rollout, which has already been plagued by so many problems and is so much slower than other countries like the US and the UK.
Dave Keating, thank you for your reporting for us there from Brussels.